Well, hello, ladies and gentlemen. Let's see. Yeah, I am pretty damn sure I will not have any help in here tonight. I forgot. Oh, I think, the Mavericks are going to be playing a little bit later tonight. And what else is going on? Let's see. The Mavericks, hockey. I think Dallas got beat. Poor Bob. Poor little Dallas. And yeah, we have a verdict. I thought the verdict might have even came in yesterday because the jury had agreed to work overtime and work through lunch, but apparently they just had to fine tune all their shit today, and the shit is fine tuned. How you doing, Robert Puckett? Hey, he's on YouTube. He just doesn't have the $3 membership. I wonder what Mr. Puckett can do about that. I just wonder. And now convict Vince. Yeah, birds of a feather rape and sexually molest and assault together, do they not? Paul RJ in Australia, we're on at a very convenient time for him today, and everybody knows my opinion on this, so I'm not on here so much. I'm going to try to take the high road, as the judge has done, as the prosecutors have done, as many people on CNN and MSNBC have done. I have not seen Fox News's coverage, but trust me, I'll be checking out all three of the opinion shows tonight. I record them all. I'll be checking them out. Don't think I won't. Going to get quite a different spin over there than you're going to get on 90% of the media. So y'all know my opinion. I am surprised that it was 34-0 because I thought, just to make it look good, well, we better find him not guilty on 2 or 3 or maybe even 12 things. Let's get him on 20 of the 34. So when it got to 20 and then when it got to 30, I'm going, shit, it's going to be a clean sweep. Once it hit 27, it was pretty evident it was going to be a clean sweep. And but, the jury seemed pretty professional from what everybody in the courtroom was saying. Be a fucking genius and badmouth the judge every fucking day you're there. Badmouth his family. They were quick to run to. Oh, yeah. Oh, they were doing that earlier today. Before the verdict was in, the grift was on, but the grift is always on. So, and a lot of my Republican wrestling friends are furious. Oh my God, it's crooked. It's in New York. He couldn't get a fair trial. Well, what's going on in Miami? None of them are bitching about what's going on in Miami. So any of my wrestling Republican friends who are watching the show right now, and I know some of you are, you're bitching about New York, where the fucking man was raised. He lived most of his life. You know why it's tough for him to get anybody to like him there? Because they all fucking know him. Anthony Scaramucci, who worked for him, by the way, Mooch and I have already been conversing back and forth seconds after the verdict came in, and I told the Mooch how much I loved him. And regardless, whatever the fuck you want to say, accountability, at least for the time being, has been served. No, we knew the grift was coming on. The multi-billionaire just can't seem to sell enough Bibles, tennis shoes, the locks of his suit that he was locked up in, and not technically locked up, but mugshotted in. He only got the one mugshot down in Georgia. The devil went down to Georgia. Boy, was there ever not a more truer song that was written about Donald Trump. So I guess I am giving y'all my opinion about some things, but you're welcome to give yours. And if you're a Trump supporter, and if you come in here with some class and some dignity and not act like a fucking fool, you're welcome to give your opinion as well. But don't tell me how crooked the New York system is when you've got a Trump-appointed judge in Miami who has already been overturned by other Republican judges, the appellate court. Her rulings have already been overturned 3 times because she's doing everything she can to blow the tiny orange little nub of Donald Trump. She's done everything she can down there to delay because, well, we can't find him innocent of any fucking thing, so let's just delay shit. So that's where we are. So can you imagine if Joe Biden were being convicted of something? I had one of my Republican friends, well, goddamn, you support a pedophile. No, I support a guy that you all like to call a pedophile because yours is a 12 times settled out of court pedophile. Donald Trump, whether anybody wants to admit it or not, settled out of court 12 times with boys and girls alike in the 70s and 80s. And there might even been a case or two in the early 90s. Most of the sexual assaults happened in the 80s and 90s, to where there's still 12 trials waiting on that once they get done with all this other shit. One down, 3 more to go. Plus, he's already been convicted of rape and sexual assault in New York. We love Mr. Trump. You love a fucking rapist. He was found guilty of running a fake university. Guilty of that. Found guilty of running fake charities. Guilty of that. Found guilty of tax fraud. I don't think they've done much on that yet. How you doing, Mylene? Mylene just got back from her vacation. Yeah, you scare me because that means your 18-year-old daughter is going to be calling me Grandpa Bowen. So you scare me with that one. I guess he was on 125th Street. Wait, a lawyer told me to pay someone off. Yeah, exactly. A lot of stupid things were said during that trial. Not only by, well, Trump didn't say anything. Oh, and by the way, he had every opportunity to testify. He could have sat up there and told his story, but he elected not to. You know why? Because, well, what is it? Telling the truth is not his strong point. And they don't take too kindly to that in court when you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth, then you don't do it. So his lawyers, they knew what to do. Yeah, don't do it. Don't do it. For any of y'all that like to donate to help our families, we have to try and raise about another $80 to reimburse Mylene for being able to go home and visit her family. We covered the initial part of the trip, got her there. She had to borrow some money to get there because it was a goodly sum. It was about $120. Needed a little money for food for her 3 kids for the week she was visiting her mother. She had not seen her kid in 2.5 years, so I'm glad she's here. She's back home now, but we need to raise about another $80 just for her to cover that. We're also trying to cover Ruby May and Hart getting their electric turned on. Actually, we're buying them a house for about $100. The people have agreed to sell the house for 5,000 pesos, but it did not have running electric. We've got it scheduled to get the electric in. It's going to be done in a couple of weeks. I wish it wasn't so long, but it's 2,700 pesos to get the electric on. I paid the first payment on the house, 2,500 pesos, which is about $50. And then we owe another 2,500 pesos. And I've seen the house. You know, you ain't gonna buy a house like that in America for $100. I can assure you, and get electric turned on for another $60, give or take. So those are the 2 primary projects right now. We sent out a lot of money yesterday, got some people taken care of. People that we did not think we were going to help, they ended up getting a little help. So we helped cover the gaps that they did not have. So we got a lot done yesterday, but those are the 2 primary things we're looking to get done today. Is Mylene, so she can pay back her neighbor that loaned her the bulk of the money to go on the trip. We covered the gaps and food and got her there. And the other big one is I'm getting a weather report from Ziggy there. We're trying to help Hart and Ruby and her other 2 kids cover electric and the purchase of a house for $100. Now, someone else wrote me, wanted 80,000 pesos for a house. Well, we don't have that. Well, we can make it in 2 payments. Well, we don't have 40,000. Well, mama can earn 20. Well, we don't have that either. 20,000 pesos is $400 for anybody that's not keeping up at home. So for any of y'all that can make any donations today with this special bonus, I know we normally do shows on Thursday, but we went last night, assuming we were going to take off tonight so Bob could watch the Dallas Mavericks. I never watch them till long after the show anyway. But like I said, if you have any opinions on Donald Trump being convicted today, me and Anthony Scaramucci's pretty happy about it. A lot of my Republican wrestling friends are not. Won't mention their names. Some of them don't even want you to know they're Republican. So that's fine. But don't bitch about how crooked shit is in New York. When that judge bent over backwards to actually rule a bunch of shit in their favor, that probably should not have been. He bent over backwards. I mean, if ever, and 10 times to violate the gag order and not go to jail, tell me the motherfucker ain't getting preferential treatment. Let me violate a gag order. Maybe they let me do it once. They ain't gonna let me do it twice. Let me violate a gag order 10 fucking times and then $1,000 fine and you don't go to jail. Bullshit. That doesn't happen to anyone else unless you're a bought and paid for politician with big donor money paying all your fucking shit for you. He didn't spend any of his money. That's for goddamn sure. I think he's like Hogan, so disillusional and out of touch. No, he doesn't have an ounce of reality in his body. He's never had to live in reality until today. And now he found out he's not above the law. And remember, the Biden administration did. The Biden administration didn't do jack shit. Yeah, there were prosecutors in New York that, to cater to their constituents, said, you know what, this lifelong fucking crook, we're going to get him. That's fine. If you know he's a crook and you know you got the evidence, what you do is you go in front of a grand jury. I've got relatives that have bitched about the process. Well, a grand jury reviews the evidence, and then they determine whether there's enough there to think there's a possibility of guilt. That's how grand juries work. Grand juries look, well, there ain't nothing here, and then nothing's brought. You can't put this on Joe Biden, the prosecutors of New York, or anybody else. The grand jury determines this shit. For those of you that either haven't bothered to learn, don't care to learn, or aren't educated enough to learn, grand juries determine that shit. Joe Biden, as much. How many people did Donald Trump threaten to lock up before he was in office and while he was in office? Lock her up, Hillary Clinton. How many times have you heard Joe Biden chant lock anybody up? And almost won't even fucking comment on this shit with Trump other than a couple of jabs here and there because fucking Trump drops his name every fucking day. The Biden administration didn't do shit. If you think they did, you're a fucking idiot. Bill Barr, who was bought and paid for by Donald Trump, was bought and paid to lock up Hillary Clinton and Joe Biden. And what did Bill Barr have to go back and tell him? We can't find anything. We ain't got anything. They've been looking for shit on Joe Biden for 7 fucking years. One of my Republican wrestling friends labeled Joe Biden as a pedophile. I said, well, great. When he's a convicted pedophile, we will judge him on such. But so far, not even a charge has been brought. You know why? Because there are no charges to be brought. Well, we got Hunter Biden showing dick pics on a laptop. Okay. Wherever that's a crime, get him for that. Well, he's making money off his daddy's name. Well, now you got to lock up the whole fucking Trump family. If we're going to lock people up for making money on their daddy's name or giving access to their daddy, now we lock the entire Trump family up just for that alone. Well, Hunter Biden made $5 million or $1 million or whatever he made. We'll say $5 million. Well, Jared Kushner made $2.8 billion just before and during the insurrection, wrapping up a deal in Saudi Arabia. For what? We don't know. For what he's qualified for? About as fucking qualified as goddamn Hunter Biden is. But Republicans don't want to talk about the $2.8 billion that Jared Kushner got the day before and the day of the insurrection. But they want to talk about whatever Hunter Biden got that he wasn't qualified to have. Access to his daddy, and 7 years they've been digging into Hunter and Joe. Nothing. They might get him on some gun charges. He lied on an application form to get drugs, or to get a gun while he was on drugs. Well, what drug addict hadn't fucking done that? Probably most of them. Let's see. So, like I said, if you have any comments, there's about 70 of you watching at 621. If you have any comments, like I said, y'all know my opinion. I'm happy to give it to you again if y'all ask for it. Going to be checking out my Cincinnati Reds later today. Scooby, you in the window, just making sure there ain't no Trump support. Well, not in this neighborhood. That's the last fucking thing. If I ever get pissed at somebody, I'm going to hang one of these trolling Trump flags up on the neighbor's door. That'll take care of that fucking house. Not in this neighborhood, baby dog. So, no, it's grand juries that bring indictments. So you can bitch about Biden and look at the Trump administration. Did everything they could to lock up Hillary and Joe Biden and had Ukraine look for dirt on Joe Biden, or we're not going to give you your money that we owe you. That didn't work out so good, did it? Grand juries, people, grand juries look at evidence, and I think the tea maker in here will agree with me on this. The grand jury looks at the evidence, and is there anything here to bring charges with? And when the grand jury brings a federal indictment, there's a reason that 90% of them settle out of court, which is probably what Trump should have done. Would have saved him a lot of time and embarrassment. Oh, I can't campaign. Yeah, he could. He can campaign every day, most every day after 4 o'clock. There's all kinds of areas. He's got a private jet. He just had to sell one of them because he owes nearly $750 million in other judgments that have been ruled against him. But he's got 2 private jets. He just sold one of them for $10 million. That's really going to make a big dent in the nearly $750 million that he owes. Well, why is it $750 million, King? We hear it's $500 million or $600 million. Well, it accrues $140,000 interest every day that it ain't paid. And now it's up nearly to $750 million that he owes, just in one case. And now we have the White House police, those that were injured, those families who are victims of officers who died during the insurrection, not exoration, because that'd be a great word. They're bringing charges against Trump. They're going to take him to trial. They will find him guilty of causing the deaths and injuries of many people at the Capitol that day. And he's going to owe another fucking shitload of money that he doesn't have and that Republicans are getting tired of paying. And then you have 12 sexual assault trials coming as soon as they can get those on the docket. They were already on the docket. Then these other 4, these federal charges took precedence. He's got those. He's probably going to owe money in almost every one of those. He was already found guilty in E. Jean Carroll, and these other girls apparently got more evidence than E. Jean Carroll had. So you got 12 of those coming. Let's see. The J is for. Okay. Well, okay. That's, yeah. Okay. The J's for guilty. All right. Well, at least I know what I'm dealing with. So, but no, the grand jury brings federal indictments. But the jury's, but the court system's crooked in New York because there's too many Democrats. Well, you lived there most of your fucking life. Your daddy lived there most of his life. I'm not sure about grandpa, but you and your daddy lived there for most of your life. You were known as slumlords, crooks, womanizers, and thieves. That's what you were known as your whole life. And you bragged about it. You flaunted it in everybody's face because y'all thought y'all had the money to fucking get by with it. Well, your money didn't buy you shit this time. Guilty on 34 federal charges. That's why 90% of federal charges are settled out of court. Whoops, they got us. The grand jury knows they got enough evidence on us. We better fucking settle. Let's lighten that sentence. Let's not waste everybody's time. Well, Trump wasted everybody's time. And that's why they've been trying to rev up the base for some donations. I guess they thought they could make more in donations than they could going the other way with it. So right now they're just fundraising. As the tea maker stated earlier, they're grifting already. So if you Trump supporters haven't bought your Bibles yet, haven't got your shoes that you're not going to get because they can't find a producer apparently to make very many of them, your Bibles, shove that up your ass if you were stupid enough to get one of those. What else is he peddling? Pretty much you name it. If you can make up something, he's probably selling it. So grand jury indictments presented with evidence, and there's either enough to bring charges or there's not. Let's face it, folks, if the state of Kentucky or the city of Louisville or the United States ever serves Kenny Bolin with a grand jury indictment, it's time to start sweating because they fucking got something. I know the trolls have been looking shit for a long time. Kenny Bolin was evicted 4 times. No, he wasn't. He was evicted 9 times because every time there's a dispute with a landlord, and I fight landlords to honor their fucking deals and their agreements and to maintain their properties. And once that goes into effect, well, eventually an eviction is served because if you're going to quit paying rent because they won't take care of the property, And I've been in a few of those in my 64 years. And so, no, it wasn't 4 times. It was 9 times. How many times has Bolin had to pay money? None. Because I won every fucking case. You can't find a case to where I had to pay any fucking money. They can evict you for no reason in the state of Kentucky. But I can also fight them to honor their fucking deals, too. So if you're looking for dirt on me, I'll help you find it. It's real easy. What else we got? Nobody's saying a whole hell of a lot, really. We're getting a little bit of chirping here and there for 76 of you. And if you're a subscriber, you're free to say whatever you want as long as you've been a subscriber. I think I made it 3 or 4 days. I didn't make it very long this time. And if you're a troll, you won't be here long. I'll get rid of you. So I'm not even worried about that. Like I said, I was prepared to do the show by myself anyway. I invited some Republicans to come on tonight, but they did not take my invitation. They were more than welcome to come on. I told them, you don't want to do it. You're going to look like a fucking idiot if you do. And they didn't. Because they knew better. Because it's amazing what the facts will do. And that's what the facts did to Trump today. And that's why even I was shocked when it came back 34-0. I'm working too. Well, so am I. We got 80 of you in here right now. So let's see if anybody's donated. I'm betting not, but we'll see. I could be wrong. I've told you what 2 of our families need, and we'll see if anybody's. Nope, not a one of you. So 80 people, and not one person wanted to help our families out. 80 of you? And not one of you is going to donate anything to help these. I'm not talking to the ones that donated last night. We appreciate the few of you that did. Good Chris, Bad Chris donated 10. Jazzy Jana donated 30. Pasta Tart donated 50. TC from the NC donated 10. We got a pledge of $30 from Billy Sellers. My memory's kicking in a little bit today, isn't it? So I'm not going to be here real long, especially if no one's going to donate anything. I was trying to give you all a bonus show and give us an opportunity to have people that don't normally get to see the show be able to do a little something to help our people. But right now we ain't got dick. Paul RJ, I think, donated a little something recently, $10, I believe. Kevin Marr is still working, and Tea Maker just hooked up with me and had dinner the other day. That was very pleasant, very nice to do that. And then he got the Anthony Scaramucci book. Got more of them coming because all these are pretty much spoken for, but I got more of them coming. The autographed Anthony Scaramucci book. Me and Mooch are taking great credit for bringing down the mighty empire of Donald Trump today. Well, there's going to be an appeals court. Well, there will. And they will probably come up with some type of a bail for the orange con man crook, rapist, convicted rapist, I might add. But many of you are still rooting for him. Rooting for a convicted rapist and sexual assaulter. Convicted of running a fake university to deprive people of their money to give them a worthless diploma. Convicted. Can't run those anymore. None of his family can run a charity in the state of New York because that was fake and fraudulent. Nobody from with the name of Trump can be associated with a charity in the state of New York. But some of you think he's all right. Are you surprised the U.S. government stepped in to, let's see here. Are you surprised the U.S. government stepped in? Well, the Vince thing is getting pushed to the back page right now. He picked a good day to have this shit happen and said they're investing. Well, no, I'm not surprised because they should be. There's a lot of dirt over there right now. Vince is at the head of the dirt pile. People have known this for a long time. And there's people on TV in the WWE right now who were involved in this shit that went on with not only that girl, but other girls. Vince McMahon was the right-hand babysitter to Donald Trump. And they certainly admired each other. They both love assaulting women. They both love to I guess womanizing would be the word. They think they're better than women. They think they're above them. And they have no problem sexually assaulting them. They've both done it. Vince McMahon will soon be convicted of sexual assault and rape as well. It ain't going to be long. And they can try it in New York or Connecticut or anywhere that he's committed these crimes. They're going to get him because now the government's getting involved. And when they get involved, they're going to get their ducks in a row. There'll be a grand jury indictment. They're going to review the evidence. And Vince McMahon will be in just as much deep shit, if not maybe even more, even though Vince. And you got to remember, Vince got Vince to hire his wife. From what I understand, Vince and his wife weren't even sleeping together at this time. May not have even been living together. But Trump got Linda a job in the Trump administration. So I got less than any respect for her as well. Fuck them all. And when it comes to Triple H and Stephanie, they covered up a rape that happened. I forgot the country. Somebody in here might know. I forgot. I thought it was Saudi Arabia, but no, it might have been Iran. I don't remember. But Stephanie and Triple H and Vince, and you can talk to Paul London about this if Paul London still does Rene Dupree show, and they probably do. Somebody pin Paul London down. He'll tell you all about it. But Stephanie and Triple H and Vince McMahon covered up a rape of a WWE star. And Paul London ain't too happy about it. If I had to guess, well, it would have to be a guess because I have no idea what the judge is going to do. The judge has already laid the groundwork and says, I do not have to put him in prison for the crimes he has committed. I think that's a fucking joke because 34 federal charges of what he's been charged with should carry some prison time. Would for most of us involved in Congress or the Senate, even though they get by with a lot of shit. You can't tell me that justice is equal because anybody that has done the shit Trump has done for the last 30, 40, maybe even 50 years and gotten by with it up till today is ridiculous. There's something I can't read. $10 donation from that is here we go. In honor of a group. It's in yellow, and I'm wearing these blue blockers. Let me throw some readers on. Brown, what's the Brown 46D, I think it says, in honor of this great day of justice, I can part with a little bit of disposable income for a good cause. Well, we appreciate that. Like I said, we're trying to raise $80. Still about 80 of you in here. We're trying to raise about $80 to help Mylene reimburse her trip to go see her kids. She had not seen them in 2.5 years. We covered about $50 of it, but we still owe about $80 that she borrowed from a neighbor. And I assume Kelly, is that you? Is that might not? No, that's Brownsfed. Hey King, good day for justice system. It is. Maybe Kelly donate a little something. He'll get he is going, well, back to CC's question, because CC made a nice $50 donation yesterday, and we appreciate a $45 donation. We appreciate that. He's not going to go to prison because with the Secret Service being involved, it would be a nightmare. Yeah, they have looked into the Rikers situation. They have looked into what would need to be done to put him in Rikers because he still faces possibly separate charges for the 10 violations of the gag order, which the judge has already said I can invoke that after the trial, and he may because there's shit that he can do there. He's already fined him the $10,000. And Trump was trying to antagonize him to put him in jail so he could campaign off from it. Trump thinking he could do a day in jail. People have said he can't do a day in jail in Rikers. He'd lose his fucking mind. Well, he's already lost that. You can't lose what you've already not got. So just imagine if they gave him 100 days in jail. 100 days in jail would be an extremely light sentence for what he's done. He was found guilty of 34 federal charges. He's an insurrectionist. He's a rapist. Convicted of charity fraud, convicted of running a fake university. What more do you have to convict this fucker of before decent people will not align themselves with him? Well, I have an easy answer for that. Nobody with any decency and any morals, and I don't give a fuck what religion you are. I don't care if you're a Baptist, a Catholic, an atheist, a Muslim. I don't give a fuck what you are. When you continually support bad, horrible people, it doesn't say much for you. It doesn't say much for you. And if my close friends are offended by that, good. Maybe you'll fucking wake up. You don't get to, if you, well, Joe Biden's a pedophile. Okay, let's convict him of it. And let's see how much support I have for him when he's a convicted pedophile. We can't even find anything to even remotely say why that would be the case other than Republicans making it up because they know what their own guy's done. Crooked Joe Biden. How Donald Trump calling someone else crooked? They called Michael Cohen the goat of liars. Michael Cohen was not documented with 32,000 documented lies that were fact-checked in 4 years by whatever newspaper service did that. They were fact-checked just for the lies they know he told in public. No one else has ever done that. No other president, no other human being has been fact-checked to have told over 32,000 lies. We'll say 32. It might have been 34. Either way, it's a shitload of fucking lies. And the man who told the 32,000 lies hired a professional liar to lie for him and get him out of shit. He was known as the fixer. The liar hired another liar to get him out of shit. That's how Michael Cohen got his fucking job. Got over 80 of you in here now. So surely out of the 80 of you in here, we got a few of you that are kind enough that have an extra $10 that can help us get the electric turned on for Mylene, who's in here watching the show. Well, not the electric for Mylene, to reimburse her for her trip to go see her kids because she couldn't afford to do it. But it was the only time she could get a week off, and I wasn't not going to sit back and not see her get to go see her kids. Been 2.5 fucking years to get Ruby May and Hart their electric turned on and to buy them a house for about $100 fucking dollars. You know, we don't have 10 of you in here that can do $10 to help with that out of the 80 of you. I know you're not that selfish. I know you're not all Trump supporters. I know Kelly's going to donate $10 just out of shame. A lot of you won't comment because you're terrified I'm going to ask you to help somebody. That'd be a fucking shame, wouldn't it? Yeah, there's a lot of you keeping quiet. All right. You're all welcome to say something, but it would be nice if you would help out a little bit. I don't know how many other people are going on live giving you a show like this right now. I know some Republicans ain't doing it unless they're bitching and whining about what happened to their cult leader. So, and like I said, any of those Republican friends of mine that want to come on here and debate who is the worst fucking human being between Biden and Trump. And I got people that are terrified and worried that Trump still could win. Yeah, he's got a lot of horrible people that support him. A lot of them are in Congress. There's a lot of them in the Senate. They dress like him and go to the trial and wear his tie. Matt Gaetz, a sexual assaulter, a sex trafficker. How do I know this? His best friend said he was. His girlfriend said he was, well, ex-girlfriend. And his Venmo account says he is. And the 17-year-old girl he took over state lines, he was paying on a Venmo account, says he was. But they ain't done anything to him about it. If anybody looks like a sexual predator, let's see here. There we go. I knew I'd have to get somebody eventually. There we go. All right, make another account. I can't figure it out because it's. I used to think that the 20% of the people were just bad, horrible people and capable of just doing anything horrible at the drop of a hat, like killing somebody. But Trump has convinced me it's worse than that because they're all wanting to kill somebody. Trump wanting to shoot Mexicans across the border so they can't get here. And now he's begging for the Latino vote. begging for the black vote when he wanted to lock up the Central Park Five. What the fuck made him an expert on whether they would be guilty or not? That's up to the justice system, which he has nothing to do with other than he's going to be processed in it a lot over the next coming years. And I just refuse to believe that there's more of you, those of you dipshits that support him, than there are of us. I'm not running into him. And I go into Trump country, and I live in a very liberal area. But I go into the Trump countries. I was raised by Trump country. And I refuse to believe there's that many fucking horrible people that will support a rapist, an insurrectionist, a child assaulter. 12 times he settled out of court. Not once, not twice, not 3 times. And we have the names of all these kids. If you can find the anonymous release that released all the names, these names have been released about 3 or 4 times. And they keep taking them down because according to the NDA and the agreement, we're not supposed to reveal the terms, the names, and the conditions of what Trump and his father settled out of court for. Some of these settlements came through the assistance of Fred Trump and his money. It was his money that paid for all this shit. I doubt a dollar of it came out of Donald Trump's pocket. And but there's 12 cases, boys and girls, that filed sexual abuse charges on Donald Trump and their parents, and 12 families settled out of court. One of those families should have had the guts to take him to trial, but apparently an amount of money was offered that they thought was worth it. It was their kid that got fucked or sexually assaulted. It wasn't them. It was their kid. So they took money on behalf of their children. If that were done to my kid, I can't imagine that there would be a dollar amount that would make me let that person go free. But that's just me. But 12 times in the 70s, 80s, and maybe even the early 90s, he settled out of court for sexual abuse. And the names are out there. It's easy enough to find. And many of y'all still worship this little miniature dick motherfucker regardless. How do I know he has a miniature dick? Ask Stormy Daniels and ask Christy McDougal, I think's her name. Her name came up a lot today, even though she never testified. They had, according to her, an 11-month relationship. Kind of hard to hide that shit. There's a paper trail there somewhere. She was offended when Trump fucked her for the first time, and he left money on her table. He left money on her table because he thought he had to pay for it. Because, as Anthony Scaramucci has said, Donald Trump has never known a love that he didn't have to pay for, which includes malaria. Malaria was a high-paid escort that Donald Trump fell in love with and married. Donald Trump is notorious. Ivanka Trump. Now, I don't know if she was a high-paid escort or not, but another foreign girl that he lured over here with his daddy's money. And apparently another video got released of him being extra chummy with Jeffrey Epstein. I barely knew Jeffrey Epstein. Well, there's a lot of video of him with Jeffrey Epstein. He's on the plane going to the island. Yep, and so was Bill Clinton. Well, it sounds to me like Bill Clinton was up to no fucking good. And if you can link Bill Clinton, just to show you how I play this shit, if Bill Clinton was on that plane going to fuck underage girls, they should get him too. And anybody else fucking involved with it. I ain't out just for the Republicans. If you are a politician going around with Jeffrey Epstein fucking underage girls, yeah, get them. Get them. That goes for Bill or anybody else that was involved, especially Trump, because he just keeps fucking lying about it. Him and Jeffrey Epstein would hire underage caddies, close down Mar-a-Lago for just him and the underage caddies to come to the golf course. Jeffrey testified to this. So did the female assistant. They also had a woman who's 34 years old now, said that Trump used to request her to be his masseuse when she was fucking 14. He would request her by name. She testified to this at the last trial, where whatever her name was. I can't think of her name, but she was Jeffrey's assistant. Well, they couldn't get Jeffrey. He either killed himself. Ironically, he died the day after Bill Barr visited him. And they said he committed suicide. Bill Barr went to visit Jeffrey Epstein. This is documented. You can look it up. Bill Barr, the attorney general that Trump was trying to get to find dirt on everybody alive who was running against him or calling him out for shit. Bill Barr goes to visit Jeffrey Epstein in prison. And then the next day, Jeffrey Epstein's found dead. Oh, boy. Oh, boy. Last week, coming home from work, there was a Trump rally on the side of the highway. About 20 people with their, well, that's a good rally for him these days. Many times down at the courthouse, he would claim that they weren't letting the Trumpers in, that they were blocks away. They were petitioned off. They weren't allowed anywhere near the courthouse. Well, news teams sent people out all over fucking New York trying to find this barricade that was keeping people from coming to the court, and there was none. There was none. And the reason you know that is because some of them were getting there. Some days they would have 3 supporters. Some days they'd have 1. And of course, they would have all those fucking politicians that were supposed to be in Congress doing their work, not doing their work, taking taxpayer dollars to dress up like Donald Trump and go defend their raping, rapist, sexual assaulting insurrectionist in court. And now you can pile 34 more charges on top of him. He will always be a convicted felon. He will always be a convicted felon. The only thing, and even if they save him, even if they go to the Supreme Court, 2 of them participated in the insurrection, either by having their wives involved, taking payoffs from people that were involved in the insurrection, hanging fucking insurrectionist flags, upside down American flags, and whatever that other fucking flag is that Ito did. And then Judge Thomas's wife, who participated in the insurrection and called Mark Meadows to try to help him overturn the election. Neither one of them will recuse themselves. Neither one of them. Why? They know those 2 votes are needed to save their fucking orange bullshit artist. And calling him a bullshit artist is a fucking compliment at this point. They're orange rapist. They're orange insurrectionist. They're orange con man. They're orange tax cheat. They're orange womanizer. They're orange racist. How do you know he's racist? Well, let it involve black people unless he needs their vote and he ain't got a good thing to say about them. He didn't want black people handling his money when he was in the casino business. He bankrupted a few casinos. But this is the people this is the person that some of you people worship. Why? And even when he does do something, he doesn't do it for you. He either does it for himself or the people with billions of dollars that donate to try to get him in office. He hasn't done shit for people like my brother. But what appeals to them are the racism, the womanizing, talking down to women, talking down to black people, especially black women. He's a master at it. And there's a certain group of people that take great pleasure in that. It's like when you all hear Cornette raving about bisexuals, transgenders. He's married to a bisexual. Well, that's my wife. That's okay. It's just not okay when Kenny Omega does it. Okay. But there's some of you out there that worship him too, because he says the shit you agree with and you go along with it and you support it. So if you support Trump, you're a racist. You're a racist because he proves it every day and you still support him. You support womanizing. You support rapists. The fake universities, already convicted of that a long time ago. Convicted of the fake charities a long time ago. No Trump can run a charity. So, you know. All right. Not one of you have donated other than the person that donated $10 in here. So I'm done. You've got my opinion. We peaked out at 86 of you and one person donated. So I'm done. I'll see you. If I don't see you Saturday, I will see you Tuesday. I said good day.